Need a countdown.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
That little red light will tell us, but it doesn't do it the same as the other one. The other one was fast. So if you hit it, it automatically was live. This one, you hit live and then it's like, I think it gives a countdown, but I don't know what the countdown is. So
It's very quick.
Yeah.
I hit it, and then we just patiently wait. So how is everybody this morning?
Doing good. Thursday
tired and
already.
cold.
Got a little snow out there. Yeah, very cold.
Very cold.
Yeah, that cold wakes me up to some degree.
Yeah, it was like -9 up here.
Wow.
It's what?
With the wind chill, it was like -9 this morning up here.
Oh,
Crazy.
I don't know wind, but it was 0 here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we're
we
not
hardly
as
got
cold
any
as you.
snow. Hardly any snow. I could clean it with a broom.
Oh no.
Yeah, just kind of
got a
brush
lot.
it away.
Push the broom. It's not, loud, but close enough. Close enough. So I think Chip is out today. So we hope that he feels better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're 3 squares
3 Hollywood Squares.
in, a couple
We're
of short.
I'm not sure how that goes.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to love that. Oh, you're a couple bricks short without me. So, all right, to pick up from our last podcast, then we talked about New Year's resolution. Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Where you guys are falling on that? Did you decide if you want any New Year's resolutions or not?
Okay, let me.
We love when we start with, okay, first of all,
We're like, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me preface this.
This is going to be good. Okay, is it fair to do what I call, and maybe even I invented this, a continuation of goals? So
Okay.
I find with my New Year's resolutions, which I usually don't do, but I do realize that for the past year I've had a set of goals, and that I found that on New Year's Eve I found myself saying, okay, the goals that I have, I need to kind of move them on a little further and kind of update them. So if that works, then I'm in.
okay, so a question, not to put you on the spot. Go ahead and lay down on the couch, Marcus, and we're going to go through stuff with you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and lay down.
Are they this?
Yes,
Because this is what I challenge myself with. They're usually the same ones because I didn't really do what I was supposed to do the year before. But
good
are they the same ones, but are they different? So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I have the same goals. Like, one of mine is always, I'm going to stop swearing. We
Yeah.
know that did not go well. So I don't know.
Swear it less.
Yeah.
Do it less. Yeah. Swear it less. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I would gauge that. I don't like any
Yeah.
what do you those little
Okay, yeah.
Jar.
to answer
We
your
put money in a
question-
jar.
Yeah, there you go. Pay up every time. We'd be rich, Drew.
We would be.
But yeah, to answer your question,
and
Sarah,
not say it, does that count?
does what?
If you think the word but you don't say it, do you stop?
Oh, if
putting
you
it
think
in
it,
the jar?
that's even worse.
That's double payment.
Well, you have to think it before you say it. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I could do this a lot.
Yeah, you're guilty. Yeah, that would cost.
Yeah. All right. So do you see what I'm saying though? Is it the same
I
one,
do.
or are you actually saying you want to do something different with it?
Yeah, bingo. It is the same goal, but because I did my due diligence, if you will, it's kind of put me down the track a little further, but I'm still in the middle of the race and have a ways to go still. So I find that my goals are the same, but then they're kind of changing because as my awareness or improvement increases, then I have to kind of push, the effort a little more than I did before.
Okay, so you're refining goals to me was what that sounds like, which isn't the same as like what I'm saying.
Yeah, refining. Yeah, because I'm actually doing mine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
no
do you
swearing.
find they're the same or are they different?
Well, I think this is kind of funny. I listened to a podcast, somebody I listened to quite a bit, and he was talking about there's a lot of this new year, new you kind of mumbo jumbo, so to speak. And it's like, it's a new year, yes, but it's the same you. And you have to take steps to kind of progress, and you have to take steps to kind of advance forward and push yourself. And it's not always just like kind of a clean slate. Just because January 1 hits doesn't mean you're a brand new person January 1.
Isn't that the fun part of January 1 is that you get to go like do over?
I think
you get a mulligan, huh?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happened December 31st? Oh, didn't happen. We started.
I think for the vast majority, that's the soft way of saying it. Like it's a new start over thing. But I think for the reality of most of us, it's just a continuation of where we were. Like to Marcus's point, so are we? What are we focused on and going forward? So I think for me, that's where I've been. What can I continue over, but then what can I push in different directions that I never tried before? And so I did allude to on the last podcast, kind of like the reading and stretching or whatever. Those might be some new tasks, but I think my basis was always stay the same and just kind of trying to push it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
And then Shauna
In April.
Yeah, Shauna's saying
Good morning, ladies.
she's swearing or slowed down a little bit on her swearing. I don't know how you measure you slow down. Kind of like you were saying, like sure.
You count how many.
Yeah, we're all winking at Shauna because we know.
We're with you, Shauna.
Hang in there, Shauna.
Slow down.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we have some tips for you guys. Let's see what you think of them. If you are going to set some goals or New Year's resolutions, I think that's the other thing too. People don't always like the language around New Year's resolutions compared to goals, right? Because it feels like, Drew, to your point, new year, new you, kind of hokey or whatever. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If you have something you want to try to do, right, or you're going to do, right, Yoda, no try, only do, whatever it is. First thing is staying positive.
Yes.
Oh, I agree.
Very much so.
That's
what a difficult challenge, though, right?
This year, isn't it? The last year of, right? Like, okay. So staying positive makes sense, right? If you have a good attitude.
Yeah.
Marcus, this goes to you, which I do not agree with whatsoever, but try not to make big and quick changes. So
I agree with that.
Read. Can you read that again, Sarah?
This I will not be doing. Try not to make big and quick changes.
I agree.
Which goes into number 3, which is still you, Marcus, in my head. Change should be gradual.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Well, it's funny, it was, I looked at a study with this talking about change and adapting, and there's an interesting study. It's 18 to 254 days it takes to change a habit or add a new addition into your everyday routine. So some people get it pretty quick, and some people it takes 254 days, what the study was saying. So I think that goes to support that argument that you can't come in, it's like, I'm going to stop smoking tomorrow, or I'm going to start working out tomorrow, and you never worked out in your life. Those are things that it has to become that life habit. And until you for me, I think it takes I thought it was like around 30 days, which is interesting why I looked it up, because I thought it only takes me about 30, but that's even still is very difficult to stay on that path for those 30 days. And I think exercise is the easy one, or eating is the easy one to see where you kind of sit as far as can you keep it or not keep it.
I think it depends. I think it's mental. I think mental more than anything else. If you want to do it and you're committed to do it, I think you can cold turkey a lot of stuff because your body is strong. Your mind is weak, right?
Exactly.
So I think
Exactly.
like I go, yeah, I get that, but I also go, I think it depends what you want, right?
Well, I think if you take it to extremes, like if you're like, hey, you got to stop smoking or you're going to die, right? I mean, if you put it in that way, if somebody gets that notice from a doctor or something extreme, I think you can, but for the most,
that would be motivation for me.
Right, you know what I mean?
Rock moved in I would work out all the time. Just saying. The Rock.
Well, yeah,
I
of
would
course.
work out constantly, and there would be no just like that, right? I'd be like, oh, I'm in the gym. I'm sorry.
I should say that she could work out with The Rock.
I'd be at Sarah's house every day.
I would be all the time, just like that. I wouldn't need any transition.
I'd be like, "What's up, DJ?"
You know what, Sarah? I think I would bet money that you would definitely pull that off.
I'm just saying, it's not always about a habit forming; it's about your motivation, right?
It's motivation,
so, Anyway, all right. The next one, build on smaller changes. So, Marcus, that's yours of what you were saying, like, do the gradual steps, smaller changes, and then allow a little room for error.
Oh, heck yeah.
That one is hard though, because then I'm all or nothing. So then I'm like, oh, well, screw it.
Okay, that's interesting. And if I can touch on that right quick, maybe this can help people. Probably like Drew and Sarah, you guys been working out a long time. I certainly have, excuse me, as well. And the other day, I went down to the workout room and I didn't feel like working out. So I made a deal with myself. I said, okay, I don't feel like doing this crap today. I'm going to go down here for I'm going to go down here for 15 minutes, right? So I did like a 20-minute workout. I was in and out. But what that did for me mentally is it still kept me on track.
Yeah,
so I guess what I'm trying to say, yeah, some days you're going to hit the home run and some days you're going to foul out at the plate.
Yeah. So it's instead of 3 margaritas, just get 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think Mark, that's what you're saying is having discipline, right? Versus motivation. Motivation is there, but motivation is fleeting, where discipline keeps you on a steady path.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I didn't think of that
so
word.
Eventually, what, day 90, The Rock living here, you're just going to be like, dude, you just go down.
You'll be over him. Yeah, exactly.
You would. And plus, he beat me out of house and home.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you know what? Yeah, just whatever. I'm not going today. You know? Like, really? Yeah, no. Really?
He'd pick you up and carry you down.
Yeah, you'd only do it for so many days, and then you just feel like I'm out. So
April has some good goals. I don't know if you see that. She's talking about sleep and insomnia. I've been there. April, if you need
been there, done that. Good Lord. Yeah.
4 years of insomnia, if you need some help with that. Shape up exercise, of course, and then lower bad cholesterol. So I think those are always good measures that people are trying to, and finish 2 books. She just added another one. So
nice.
That's good. Those are good, April. So the other one I think is interesting is we try to set goals all the time to better ourselves. This recommendation says set goals that motivate you, not necessarily looking, right? Because again, Drew, to your point, there's discipline and there's motivation. Motivation is the desire to want to. Discipline is we do it even when we don't want to, right? So if we're more motivated with it, whatever that is, the more likely that we're going to succeed, right? Because
I think so. Yeah.
There's a little internal something besides just you're going to do it, right? Like get your butt down in the gym.
That's the whole theory of, you want to take the island, you burn the boats, right? I mean, it's one of those things when you're desperate, you make those things and you have to adapt and you go after it.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing they recommend too, which I think is this one, I do not agree with moderation. I have decided I'm going to just totally embrace the fact that I do not like moderation.
Oh, you have to. We're going to have to work on Sarah.
No, I am embracing. I'm not. Nope, never going to.
You can't run a marathon before you learn how to run.
No, sure can. I'll figure it out. So yeah, I just right into it. I will
sidebar with Sarah.
And this is pick a few. Don't pick 20.
Yes.
Right? If one is good, which normally is my thing. If one is good, 7's better. But in this case, what they're saying is limit how many goals that you're setting so that you can actually achieve them, right? So you don't have to set New Year's goals and then that's it. You could set those goals for a quarter. You could set them for half a year. You could set a goal to say, I'm going to do 100 sit-ups every day for 30 days. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to do 150 sit-ups every day for 30 days or whatever it is. Or I'm going to get to whatever, but they're saying, kind of limit the number, but you can also limit how far that goal takes you. What do you guys think?
What that reminds me of, Sarah, that word that I love that you say, and it's so true, the pivot. That's part of pivoting.
I like pivot.
Yeah.
I don't like the N word. I pivot constantly. My middle name is Pivot.
She ain't talking marriage, y'all.
Not my thing so much.
It's pretty difficult though. Like I'll use me as an example. Like we talked about reading. Reading is I just don't enjoy reading. And so one of the things I tried and failed miserably at was a concept of so to that point of moderation was just read 10 pages. Try to read 10 pages each day. Right. And you'll start.
Yeah.
And even that for me, I failed miserably. It was like trying to stay disciplined on reading 10 pages.
Yeah, that would be a tough one for me too.
So I think when you think of those challenges, it's like it could be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is. But I think what's important that I see is celebrating successes and then not, if you fall off the horse, I mean, it's about getting back on it again. It doesn't wreck everything, right? So Marcus, diet and training or whatever, as soon as somebody eats a pizza, it's like, I'm giving up. And then it's over, rather than just like, okay, that was that meal, get over it. And I'm going to be right back on track again,
There's that I agree. Philosophy again, which, all right. The next one is be specific. And I think this goes back to, again, those SMART goals, right? Are they measurable? Are they, because again, if you just say, well, I'm going to eat healthier, what does that mean? How do you measure that? How are you specific, right? So are you going to cut out sugar? And what does that mean? Are you going to have sugar once? I mean, are you going to go to read labels and you're not going to have ketchup or spaghetti sauce or salad dressing because those have lots of sugar? Or are you going to say, I'm not going to have any sweets or snacks or, right? Those specific things will help you reach that goal. Because it's easy. to just.
Ooh, got to grab a tissue. I'll be right back.
So, okay.
In moderation.
Yeah, right. And then we kind of already talked about this, but their next one is trying to set big goals into smaller chunks, right? So if your goal is to lose 20 pounds in 2022, well, it should be 22 pounds then, right? Because it's got to be even. You're not going to lose it in the first month. So break it up over pieces and do it a little bit in moderation, kind of do your book reading, some other things we talked about. Although again, hate that word. What about writing it down? Do you guys
I love writing it down. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like that helps you?
Yeah, because what it does for me to write it down, for some reason, I like to dot my I's and cross my T's, and be able to put an X through something as completed motivates me.
Okay.
I also noticed too, in this, I guess with workouts, I write down all my workouts, but I have this little secret code. So it's not a whole bunch of words. It's just to the point. I know what it is, can decipher it. But what I find is that if I do have, it makes it measurable for me, that I can go back and say, okay, no wonder my shoulder hurts because this day I, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe I'm feeling better because I see I've been consistent with workouts for the past 2 weeks. So yeah, I love writing it down.
And I think in that vein, and not to stay on just physical exercise, but like dieting, I had to write it down for a trainer, when I was training, and it was like, I want everything that goes in your mouth for the whole 24, and it shocked me at the end of the day. I went, oh, and you don't realize like what you're putting in your mouth. Like if you actually write it down and see where it is and have to be honest about it, if you're truthful about it, then you get on the path. So I'm sure that's the way it is with anything, finance, or I think the more meticulous and specific you are, it helps you to attain that goal. And then to your point, you have to be realistic with it. If I want to make 50 grand next month, that's a hell of a challenge. But if I want to make 50 grand over a year, I can break that out into increments, throughout the months that we go.
Right. And I think too, it's like, if you're saving money, one of the tips I heard is don't use your debit card or your credit card, actually take cash and put yourself on a budget so that you have, like if you have $100 in your wallet, when that's gone for the week, versus it's so easy to swipe that card and you don't think about how many times you've swiped it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, so I was saving, did not make that save. Because I forgot about the shoes I bought last Tuesday on an impulse. And
well, that was kind of like the checkbook and then the debit card issue. Remember, like they kind of first came out? I struggled big time where it was like checkbook, you wrote everything down, you knew where you were at, but then you got that debit card, all of a sudden it was like, boom, 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 and they don't catch up in your tally. You're like, uh-oh, I went through too much money, or it's like gambling, right? I mean, there's a reason why we play with the chips. We don't play with cash. I mean, who would go in there and actually throw down hundreds, like just physically putting down $100?
I'm like, that's how right?
It's designed that way.
Yeah. Shauna, I agree with what you're saying. She's like, I'm at least limiting my F-bombs. So I will say I work on that kind of moderation. So good advice there, Shauna, on that one. How about this one? So you're writing it down, but what about accountability or sharing with others? I'm a big one with that because I think it makes me a little more accountable to be like, although if I'm eating a cookie and someone's like, I thought you were on a diet, you better let me eat my cookie. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. What do you guys think about that? Having, people in your tribe that you can be I think it's a huge thing for me.
I agree, Sarah. And, sometimes when I set a goal, I will purposely tell people because then I feel I have to follow through with it.
Right. Or you look kind of silly. Like they're like, how did that lag? Wait, it was 3 days? Good for you, girl. Yeah.
I've done it when I've signed up for a competition, right? So I get on there and like, that's kind of the funny thing about social media is you get on there and I was doing a tactical competition and I had like 3 months prepared. It was one of those where I had to sign up. You had to, display it. They wanted you to post it. And I had people like, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? You ready yet? And they just kind of kept me focused on getting to Florida for this competition. And I think that's for me where trainers are so important, whether it's or mentors are so important in that fashion where they can keep you, at least for me, like it's somebody that I have to be accountable to versus I struggle, even though I have some great apps and things like that help me, but having somebody that monitors you is where I've had the best success with that.
Yeah, I've learned I have no discipline at all. I am not a disciplined individual at all. But I am really motivated. So mine is all psychological. If I want to do something, I will do it. And there is, hell nor heaven is going to stop me. But if I'm relying on discipline, that is never gonna, just won't happen. I just know I've learned I'm not. I think that's why I'm moderation isn't my thing, and I'm an all or nothing, because it's all passion and desire, not structure.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I agree with both of you. My longest client that I've been training is 75. I've been training him for 12 years. Okay.
Nice.
12 years I've been training this guy. And what I learned about him, bless his heart, I love him to death, is that if I don't show up, or if he doesn't show up to work out, it doesn't happen. He cannot do it on his own. So
yeah.
I can, but again, it's what I've learned is discipline isn't my thing, right? It's all, so when we did the step challenge as a company, and I don't, if you guys are watching and you were part of that, literally I would get up at midnight and go, oh, someone's ahead of me. I need to go get on the treadmill and run. And I'm not a runner, because I was not going to lose. That wasn't, it had
that's
nothing
your
to do
competitive
with, I'm going to
spirit.
do it for health. And if I'm honest, it was all about competition. I didn't want to lose. So I think that's I do think you have to know what motivates you and what drives you. And that's something new for me this year that I've learned, right? Instead of trying to be that moderate person. I mean, no offense, I get it, but I will never be moderate, right? It's just never.
Sarah, you know what? My guess is that you're moderate and you don't realize it.
That'd be my guess too.
No.
Seriously,
no.
yeah.
If you watched me for literally, it has to be more than I can control how I behave in front of you. You know what I mean? All those shows that we watch, our Kardashians or all those live shows, they can hold their own stuff together for a period of time, right? Or they're gonna just show up all the time. And then there's going to be that one day, right, where they're cracking, and you're going to see their true nature come out. That's what I'm saying. If you actually saw that truth, and you'd be like, wow, she really has.
That girl knows herself.
Everything I do is based on fire.
I'll be eating in the closet. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, right. I just be right in front of you and go, I just don't care anymore. I just have powder sugar all over.
Yeah, I'm done.
So, okay, the other one is make it automatic. So technology, you just use that, Drew, in apps and other things that help you be accountable. Yeah. Alarms, right? That was a huge one for me. Yeah. When I went on the food thing where you have to eat every 2.5 hours. If I didn't have it in my phone for an alarm, now I just ignored the alarm. However, I had to actively ignore the alarm versus not. Yep. Right. So there is so much technology that can help us stay on track.
Sure, you bet.
This is one I think we forget to do, which is basically resolve to your resolution daily or hourly, as the case may be, right? Or monthly, right? So if you're going to maybe save money, you're going to have to actually sit down and resolve of what are you going to do different. You can't just keep doing the same thing unless you're going to make more money and not spend more, right? Sure. You're going to have to sit down and evaluate that. You might have to really implement some changes. Same thing with exercise or food or family time. That was one that was on there, spending more time with family and friends. Yeah. If you're an introvert like I am, right? I hate when my extrovert side makes plans and then my introvert side has to follow through with those, because I'm like, oh, come on. Well put, can't we just have an apocalypse or something so I don't have to go? Right? So I think, how do you do that, right? Do you calendar out time? As dumb as that sounds, probably. Today I'm going to be an extrovert, and so I'm going to pack it in or whatever. I think that's important, because sometimes I think otherwise we're going to look back and go,
it's incredibly important.
It's all about planning.
Yep. Yeah. I know it sounds silly, but one of my in my police psychologist, when I used to see her about this came up in scheduling, and she was asking a lot about my downtime versus my on time, and it struggled to keep the balances between that. And literally, she had in her calendar an hour a day that was for herself. That was the number one thing, was how much time do you get for yourself? Because you can't handle yourself, you're not prepared to handle everybody else, kind of thing. And then she would build in time for her family. And it was one of those strategies for me where it's okay to give yourself permission that when you come home, you need to decompress and you can have time for you before you're dealing with what's happening in the house. Well, that's got to be a communication thing. But I laughed too at the first time, you actually calendar time in. Well, for me, I went in and started to do those things too. And it was obviously having the conversation at home. I just need 30 minutes just to have time for me, and then I'll be there for you and after this thing. But having never heard that before, I didn't know what I was even doing those things. Or the phone, having a time where you go home and unplug that thing and it sits in a basket away from everybody.
Yeah.
That's what we're collectively working on at my household, is trying to do less technology at X amount of time in the evening.
That's a good point, Drew. And I think that's huge. Yeah, definitely.
I'm probably not going to have that goal.
No, less technology.
No, it's just, again, I think you got to have stuff that motivates you and that you know what I mean? And I think, no, not really. Because I say I'll have, like I do, I have times I'll watch a movie and I'll turn it upside down. And if I don't think there's anything going on, I'll check it when I need to or whatever. I don't feel glued to it. But there are other times I feel like it's just like TV in a way, right? Because you can I don't know, Chip sends me TikTok stuff and I don't like TikTok. But then since Chip started sending it to me, then I see
now
one,
you like TikTok.
I scroll and then all right, well, I just
yeah.
want to see more people who can't dance to that stupid Applebee song. Can we just stop that? Can that be our
Right.
solution? You do not have to dance to be cool. I'm just going to go on record. You can still be cool and not video yourself dancing to the Applebee song. Just
It's true. I would have to agree.
for me, but I'm just saying it is. Apparently, I'm very angry about that song. Ugh.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for me is I have two little reminders that, reflect on you as my kids, right? So it's one of those things where they, you're engulfed in it when it's like they're talking, you don't even hear you, and they're like tapping you like, hey, oh, I mean, so it's one of those things where obviously it's family time, quality time, those kind of things. Yeah, because TikTok, Chip, thank you, has been, I saw one I almost sent to you guys last night. It was a guy like me who was like, I'll never get on TikTok. I don't like TikTok, whatever. And then it was like 4 weeks later, and the guy's just scrolling through TikTok,
The next one comes up, and then 10 minutes later, you're like, I will not get that time back. And I am not smarter for the time I just watched someone go, what were you even saying? Did you review that before you posted it? Anyway,
I'm still trying to understand TikTok, so I hear you.
Yeah, I think this year I'm into the more trying to have different like adventures or do different, not necessarily like learn different hobbies, but just try different things. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's a cooking class or it's shooting a gun or if it's shooting a bow or if it's going just to do different things that maybe I haven't done before, just to experience them.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And actually go somewhere to do it, right? Because I think, again, I'm more of an introvert, so I'd rather just stay home or in my office or whatever. And to get out and go do it, that is a stretch. So
yeah, you're gonna have to plan the calendar those, This month I'm gonna try this. Well, it's like the ropes course we always pass on I-70, right? We're gonna do that this year, right? At some point, we have to put it on the calendar. Let's get it done.
Yeah, that's what you said. I said I think we should go to Casa Bonita. That was
that's another one. Let's do it.
Yeah.
With the new Casa Bonita.
I need to have a work day at Casa Bonita, but
there we go.
We say that all the time. We were going to go to a haunted house. We didn't do that. We were going to go to a pumpkin patch. Pumpkin. Sorry, I always say pumpkin. We were going to go to a pumpkin patch. We didn't do that. We were going to go to like how many things? Oh, laser tag. We were going to do one time. Marcus, we were supposed to get tattoos last year.
Oh, that was on the agenda.
Yeah, that was on the agenda. I blamed that on COVID though. Nothing was open.
Marcus. 50 and I turned 50, so we were going to go get tattoos, and nope.
No,
but that's
Marcus,
still on our list,
though,
right, Sarah?
Right? That's still a bucket list.
It's on my list. It is. But I'm just saying, like, we do that all the time, right? And then, Drew, to your point, we don't calendar it in. Everyone goes, oh, yeah, that'd be great. Let's go do that. And then how many golf charity events have I golfed in? Like 1,000. I don't know how to play golf. I should probably learn how to play golf. But so it's stuff
just whatever.
I wanted to go to Top Golf just so I
could. That's fun. Yep.
Right? But no, we talk about it. We never do it. So anyway,
here's the lead on that
tip. And that is what you guys said before, but I think this is really hard. So I'd love to know what our viewers think of this. If you fall off the horse, get back up. Right? We talked about that.
Yeah.
It's really hard though to do when you feel like you failed because you didn't set yourself up for success, right? Now you've fallen or you didn't do what Shauna, you dropped it. You dropped it like it was hot. That F word came out. I know it. Now what do? Right? How do you re-get that motivation or that discipline to now set yourself back up on that track? What do you think?
Yeah, and that's very tricky because I think in each of us, it's not a cookie cut answer.
Right.
To be honest with you, I think that's when if you're serious about your
Just
goal,
give up.
Never give up.
Never give
Never
up.
give up.
Never give up. That's when
Never give
you
up.
maybe need to hire out for the support systems or the friendships that you need to help keep you motivated on track. Birds of a feather flock together.
You know, that is funny, Marcus, because it's true. I think I find it interesting that one of my goals this year is to reevaluate my tribe. I know that
Yep.
sounds really silly, but you know,
should.
over the last couple years,
Heck yeah.
change and other people change, and then you kind of go,
Yeah.
what is this relationship really bringing to my growth or to me, or what am I bringing to them? Or is it just because some relationships I think stay for a long time and others
Sure.
come and go in your life, but for different
Exactly.
reasons. And so are you really contributing to someone? Are they contributing to you? What do you find that? And I think it's fascinating that I'm always attracted to people who are motivated to self-growth or business stuff, or, you know,
Heck
if
yeah.
it's someone who's like, hey, let's
Mhm.
go out and, you know, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, success
There's certain
breeds
things I
success.
just, yeah, right. And so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you end up going, you hang on to these relationships for loyalty or time, but then you realize there's no value, and then you're spending time watering a seed on cement, right? Versus
Right.
watering a seed in good soil.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I think that will help motivate you too, right? Because it is birds of a feather do flock together, right? It's true.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Yeah, you should
So-
try to find those that are excelling and better than you is what I always try to do. Is like, who's doing better? How do I get to that point, and how do I work with them? You know,
Right.
to
And
go to the best, or how do you learn from it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
That's kind
everybody has something to offer that you're not good at, or you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you have to be vulnerable, I think, to be able to go, how am I gonna, right? How am I gonna learn or benefit? And then what do I have to offer? I think one of the things that is interesting on here is all of these goals were about self. If you think
Yep.
about it, I'm
Yep.
gonna save money, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna do this, it's for me, it's for me. None of these goals focused, in my opinion, and these were our top 10. These weren't ours, you guys. These were what we
Sure.
pulled top 10 for
Yeah.
2022. How about like more charity, or how about being a better friend, right? How about
Exactly.
being more supportive of the people that I love and value in my life? How about,
Exactly.
you know, starting a new business? How about whatever? Like, I find it fascinating that it was all very
Yeah.
self-motivated goals.
Self-centered.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point, Sarah. Very good point.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's easy to look at yourself, but then sometimes I think, what did we do for someone else, right? Like, no one put on there, I'm going to open doors more for other people. I'm going to wait and hold the door when someone comes in, or I'm going to compliment someone more.
Mhm.
Or
That is very good, actually. Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
yeah, so I don't know. I was just thinking about that yesterday, and I thought I'm going to reevaluate my goals too with all of this stuff and then that, and go, you know, do I really care that I swear more than I should? Probably yes. I need to work on that, but you know, maybe that's okay. But maybe I need to work on saying hi and smiling at someone more, or doing, you know,
Sure.
instead of it
Little
all
things.
being about right self-criticism and self whatever. Maybe it
Very
can go
good
the
point.
other way. So.
Yep. Very good
Yeah.
point. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Insightful.
true. Everyone's got to do their thing, right? It's got to be everyone's own.
Well, you got to take care of you first. Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
Mhm.
so Shauna, I will be accountable for you.
Me too, Sean.
5-year-old client, she said. So I will be absolutely accountable. And Renee, that is awesome. Renee said she learned to ride a motorcycle at 62. I have never
Woo,
ridden
yes.
a
Incredible.
motorcycle because my dad was a fireman when I was growing up, and I saw
Mhm.
Yep. Too much
and
of
the
that.
head was still in the, and
Mhm.
Yep.
I can't do it. I want to, but then I
Yeah.
just go, I want my head.
You don't have to ride a street bike. You can do a dirt bike or something different. There's
Yeah,
plenty
I've
of
never done
motorcycles.
that
Yep.
either. I just,
Yep.
I always think of that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah. So Shauna says I have a hard time getting back on the horse. She just swear it up for the rest of the day and start tomorrow, right? Which is interesting because we do that, right? Like you made the comment, if you eat the pizza,
Exactly. You
and
fall
okay,
down.
you eat the pizza, just get right back on the horse. But I would agree with Shauna. I can't do it that same day because I'm going to go for ice cream. If I already ate the pizza, I'm going to eat.
Yeah. If you're gonna mess it up, then mess it up right.
I had one margarita. I should have
Yeah.
the second one. I'm going to go, well, I've already had one. What's
Yeah.
See,
another?
I used to think that too, and it'd be interesting, Marcus, like what you think. But my trainer used to allow a cheat meal, right? So you had a cheat meal a week, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
a cheat meal? I'm a cheat meal. Like, I'm like, what about a cheat day?
I thought it was
No. And you
Oh.
can get you can get so out of whack with one day of eating that it's that's where the meal comes in, because you can handle it in a, generally speaking, in
Yeah.
a reasonable cheat meal
Can you
versus
make the
a
meal from
full
8
day.
to 5 p.m.? Like,
No,
it's
because
just
when you look at the amount of calories you intake, that's where you just blew. So basically, it was like this: you could have spent all week busting your butt and been perfect, and then you go into the reward was that final whichever meal it was, or is it that day that now took away that whole week of work
well,
that
The
you
Rock
just
does that because I'm watching the sushi meal. He always has like a sushi meal and tequila.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, oh, but then someone's I'm not gonna, because grow up and suck it up, Buttercup, right? I get it. But
Right.
it's really nice if someone's like, here, Sarah, eat this. Here, Sarah, we're going down to the gym.
oh yeah,
Here, do
100%.
this, right? Like, it's hard when you're on your own doing it, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
is still an excuse because
Yeah.
Yeah,
life
it
is
is.
hard. So you got to suck it up and figure out a way to make what you want happen. No one's going to
But
do it for you, right?
You know, it's interesting. It all boils down to motivation. And this
mhm,
is the best way I can sum it up. I know I talk about sports a lot, but this is the best example I can give you. Shannon Sharp, who played with the Broncos, right? He had a phenomenal build. I mean,
yep,
just
yep,
awesome. He made it into the Hall of Fame. So when they
yep.
were interviewing him, they said, well, what was your motivation during all this time, right? What made you do what you did? So I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to have an answer that fills in the blank as to why am I doing this?
Mhm.
And his answer was he knew that there was some rookie that was
Yep.
just ready to take his job. That was motivating
Chase him.
enough for him. So
When
then I apply that to my own life and I think, okay, what are the things I want to accomplish? What do I want to do? And while I'm doing them, what motivates me to do this? So part of my New Year's resolution has to do with last year, because if you guys remember, I was kind of sick and trying to figure that out, right? Well, I'm in season 2 of the Marcus McCoy Get Healthier series. But the motivation for me is I hated the way when I was sick, how it made me feel. And I never want to go back there. So then I
Yep.
say, okay, what does it take in order for not to go back there? I have really made the sacrifice to say, I'm going to do it. So I
That's the
jumped in
thing,
wholeheartedly.
right? Is that no change doesn't come without some sacrifice. And
Yeah.
that's the hard part
Yeah.
is, like you said, sometimes you have to replace what you give up, right? So
hmm
I give this up, then what do I fill that with?
Exactly.
And I think that goes back to your thing on it really is like for me, it's all about winning, right? I have to win something or there's got to
Yeah.
be a right. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm like, can you just not like me chubby, right? Like, they're cute and they're a little chubby, like, but you have to have that, like, so that's why I think that step challenge was so interesting in our company. I don't know if anyone else thought that, but watching it from like a
Oh, I
psychosocial,
wanted to play, but I was ill and couldn't. I
yeah,
was so
no,
jealous.
but I mean from a psychosocial,
Sure.
right? Like
Sure.
people who I thought were not overly motivated were like, so I'm so competitive. Like literally, I'll push down someone to like in a game, not in life. Like I'm not going to push them in a game or something like that. Like I'm very
Sarah will
competitive, and
take you out.
so yeah, right. So I realized in that like cutthroat competitive, right, to the point
hmm
where like I was like, okay, Sarah, you need to like relax. It's a step challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody doing good for themselves. No, it's about winning. It's about, so I think that was interesting in discovery. So I think like each one of us should look at that, right? It would be interesting to see if you can put that into your goals. How
Yeah.
much more successful would those goals be because it's your own natural motivation versus
Sure.
trying to do what someone else thinks you should do or how you should do it,
I agree with that
right?
100%. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we're all wired different.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
I'm obsessive. I get obsessed about something and then I'm all in and then other things don't matter. And I think I have to do one goal at a time sometimes, or it all has to be connected, right? I don't think I can like want to read, stop swearing and work out at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot on one plate.
That's a lot.
That's a lot on the paper plate
Hey,
at once. Yeah.
Yeah,
no big changes and no quick changes.
yeah. Still not going to happen. Not with this girl. So, well, we hope this gives you some good tips to reevaluate maybe what you've been doing for goal setting or even New Year's resolution. That you can think about things that help and better and motivate yourself, but also maybe we can change the world a little bit by doing things to better our friends or our family or our communities, and put that into your goals. And maybe these steps will help. And if we can be accountable for you, let us know. We would love to bring just good things in 2022, right? It's been a rough couple years. So this is
yeah, we're moving on.
Moving on. That's right. So, well, we hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday, same place, same time.
See ya.